Hi students, this is the overview for our next week, week 3, located in our module 1. So we are still here in module 1, laying down our foundation for some of our skills, learning a little bit about critical thinking, questioning as it relates to reading and writing. So that's part of our, just to kind of tie it all together, this is part of our introduction to college writing, is how those things are all working together, how you can, engage those things to help you be successful in the course and just as a writer and reader. So here's where we are. We are wrapping up week 2, and now we are on to week 3. So when you come to week 3, again, let me just kind of remind everybody that when you come into the course, make sure you're coming in here so you don't miss any content and not just going through the activity stream or just the calendar. You always want to come in through the modules so you can make sure that you get the videos, the resources, the other instructional materials that I am providing you. Okay, so just a reminder. So we have our weekly overview, which you all can kind of go through. You'll see the video and some of the objectives, what we're going to be doing with some of the specifics here, just kind of laid out for you for the week. Okay, but really, if you just follow this, remember, and go to each thing, I put it in an order to kind of help, what I think is the best path forward for you in terms of how the materials are presented. So I actually am starting out with the with some videos to kind of give you an introduction to audience purpose and tone, which are some of our rhetorical variables that we'll be talking about a little more. We talked briefly about it in our last week. And then that should kind of help set you up a little bit for more understanding for the Smart Book reading. So again, this is where you're going to be answering those questions while you read. And remember, this is the one where you can choose to do the questions first or the reading first, and you can kind of toggle back and forth between the two. I do have, once you finish reading chapter 3, I do have a presentation. It's a very kind of short walkthrough PowerPoint style presentation, not narrated, just to kind of pull all these other chapters, the first 3 chapters in the book are really kind of the foundation. So we're just going to kind of do a quick review of those, and so you can kind of see them all at a glance here. And then I would recommend you then go to the quiz where you can kind of check your knowledge on chapter 3. We do have a couple of writing activities this week. So reading and writing activities. So the first one is going to be a Power of Process assignment. So we have not completed one in this class, though if you've had me before, you may have encountered the Power of Process. So I'm going to give you a tutorial because if you haven't done this type of assignment before, you need a little bit of a heads up on how to do it and how to submit it. Once you do one, you'll have it down. And you are going to open this assignment, and it's going to walk you through an annotation, right? So I'm going to have questions for you. Some questions are going to ask you to fill in the blank, and some questions are going to ask you to annotate, meaning highlight and write comments in a comment box. So you'll have a couple different types of questions to follow on what I call the Power Process wheel. And so that's why you need this tutorial, so make sure you review that first, okay? Once you finish the reading, this is like an interactive reading. Once you finish that, then I'm going to have you kind of share some of your understanding of that reading and with your peers in a discussion about the readings. So this is actually going to take you into 2 readings. So one reading you will have already completed, and then I'm going to introduce you to a second reading that you'll just click on and open. It's a web link. And so you'll need both readings to complete the discussion. Okay. And then once you've shared out with the group, then I'm going to have you kind of come in here a little to your journal and really kind of reflect a little more with a little bit of practice still talking about the readings, but instead of just talking about the readings and sharing your insights on the readings, you're also going to be creating some of those engaging questions your book has been discussing to help you practice with the writing prompt. So that journal assignment is going to be one where both of these assignments, the discussion and the journal, are going to be working with those two readings, because we are going to be engaging with these texts, but we want to do so critically and not just passively. So we're really actively doing our reading and writing and putting what we've learned about critical thinking to use this week. Okay, so those are your assignments. One note about the discussion before I forget, this time you will have to put your post first before you can see everybody else's posts. So it's going to look like nobody's posted. So that means you can't edit your discussion. So just something to keep in mind. I explain it in the assignment, but you will be expected to create your post, then post it. And once you post it, then you'll see everybody else's. Okay, so just a heads up, that'll be a little bit different from the last one we did, which was, I think, our introduction. All right, well, if you guys have any questions, you need some help this week, don't hesitate to reach out. And those of you who are enrolled in my NCBW, bring your questions to class, and we'll talk about some of these topics. All right, have a good week, everyone.